Here's your wrestling news for August 20th, 2021. And your headlines for today include: WWE producer leaks information that Vince McMahon's issues with Bray Wyatt led to his downfall in WWE. Vince McMahon personally reached out to one big wrestling prospect about joining WWE. WWE finally and officially opens up about selling the company. Scarlett not cleared to compete on WWE main roster. WWE 2K22 gives sneak peek with new screenshots. Roman Reigns says CM Punk was never as good or over as John Cena. Former WWE champion strongly reacts. Released WWE wrestlers are receiving interest from multiple pro wrestling companies. Seth Rollins picks his next opponent after WWE SummerSlam, and more. We're starting today with WWE, who shockingly released Bray Wyatt last month, despite him being one of the most popular superstars of the past 2 years. Immediately after his release, fans protested with a "We Want Wyatt" chant during every Raw since his departure, and it turns out his release was due to more than just budget cuts. Speaking on the Ringer Wrestling podcast, former WWE producer/actor Freddie Prinze Jr. claimed that Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn's issues with Bray ultimately led to his downfall. He said, "Vince is a product of the 80s. It's Reaganomics. When there's problems, he throws money at it. It's an old-school way of thinking. It sometimes works, it sometimes doesn't, but they're men that will double down, him and Kevin. For better or worse, they will always double down. And I don't think Bray had a good enough hand to play poker with them that game." Prinze added that this difference is what led to him losing the Universal title in Saudi Arabia to Goldberg just a month before WrestleMania 36, and that things only went south from there. He also said that the way WWE works backstage, a bad match can still be considered a success by the company just as long as you do the match their way, and vice versa. A great match with a wrestler who does their own thing is just considered a good match by the company. Wyatt's last match in WWE saw him be defeated by Randy Orton at WrestleMania in a match that did The Fiend no favors, and we'll have to see where the former world champion calls home next. One person fans may be seeing soon enough is Gable Steveson, who will be appearing this Saturday at SummerSlam. Even before his gold medal victory in Tokyo, Steveson was a top prospect to WWE, but the Olympian has also shown interest in joining the UFC, Bellator, and even the NFL. While speaking to the Sun tabloid, Steveson discussed what's next, adding that "I really haven't thought about what's next. I told everybody I was going to come home and sit down for a little bit and just relax myself and just pick what's best for me and what's next. I could go for double gold in 2024. I could see Vince McMahon, who has reached out to me personally to go out there to do WWE, or I could go see Dana White. I mean, even the Minnesota Vikings gave me a message." Vince McMahon isn't the only one interested in Steveson, as Seth Rollins has said he'd love to train with the Olympian and that he should come to WWE. The fact that the chairman himself called the 21-year-old shows just how interested he is in signing Steveson, and we can only wonder what kind of talks will happen this weekend when the Olympian attends SummerSlam. If Steveson does join WWE, the possibilities are endless for his career as a superstar, and plans are already being suggested for the Olympic gold medalist. Earlier this year, the Hurt Business split up, a decision that the group fought against, but were unable to persuade Vince McMahon to keep the group together. In an interview with Vibe and Wrestling, WWE champion Bobby Lashley talked about Steveson, saying the Olympian should become the next member of the Hurt Business. When the group split up earlier this year, MVP explained that they're still looking for recruits, and we'll have to see if Steveson does indeed side with MVP and the almighty Lashley if he eventually becomes a WWE superstar. In 1982, Vince McMahon Jr. bought the World Wrestling Federation from his father and has been the undisputed leader of sports entertainment ever since. Dispatching of rivals like WCW and ECW, McMahon's WWE famously doesn't work well with others, but that could be changing very soon. In the past year, WWE has released a ton of talents, all in the name of budget cuts, and it's been speculated that WWE is looking for someone to buy the company. That's now more than just speculation, as this week, WWE President Nick Khan appeared on the Recode Media podcast and revealed that WWE is looking to work with others, even companies that could one day buy McMahon's company. He said, "We're open for business on anything and everything. Even some of the business plans that we've announced recently are different and unique to what the company has traditionally done. We're open for business. If somebody called, we'll listen, but we're not active or out on the marketplace trying to change that structure. Since joining WWE, Khan has overseen major changes to the company, including the release of talent and the selling of WWE Network to NBC. In that same interview, Khan added that Vince McMahon does not plan on stepping down as chairman, and Khan fully agrees with that decision. Just a few years ago, the idea of McMahon selling WWE would seem impossible, but it's safe to say that a lot has changed, especially over the last 12 months. Nowadays, reports of top executives, including McMahon, selling thousands of shares are common, and we'll have to see if the ever-changing company one day changes hands. Over to Raw now, as Karrion Kross's time on the main roster got off to a rocky start, with many fans annoyed that he didn't have Scarlett by his side. Since his debut on the July 19th Raw, Kross hasn't been joined by his real-life girlfriend, and fans shouldn't expect to see Scarlett on the red brand anytime soon. During PW Insider Elite Audio, Mike Johnson said that Scarlett isn't cleared to compete, and that's why she hasn't been on Raw so far. Johnson didn't explain what injury or other explanation was behind Scarlett not being cleared, but he said she just needed to take some time for something. WWE's original plan for Kross on the main roster was for him to keep losing until Scarlett's debut on Raw, where she'd unleash the monster that is the NXT champion. There's no timetable on when Scarlett will be medically cleared or on Raw, but for now, Kross will have to go it alone on the main roster. Video game news next, and after the disaster that was WWE 2K20, the developers took an extra year to focus on the next game in the franchise. Little is known about WWE 2K22 other than favorable reports saying that it's a wrestling fan's wrestling game, and now we have a few more images for the new game. On social media, the official WWE Games account shared 2 screenshots from the game, which are cinematic shots of Edge's entrance, and the game certainly looks like a high-quality product. In a tweet, it was also confirmed that more details about WWE 2K22 will be revealed during SummerSlam, and we'll have to wait and see what's revealed ahead of the game's release later this year. Now tonight, CM Punk will make his return to professional wrestling, debuting on AEW Rampage's first dance special, if the reports about him are to be believed. Since walking out on WWE in 2014, Punk has kept away from the ring, and WWE has been careful not to mention Punk on TV, but Universal Champion Roman Reigns does what he wants. While speaking to Ariel Helwani, Reigns didn't shy away from talking about Punk after being asked what he thinks about part-timers coming in and taking big spots from full-time performers. He answered, "I mean, those statements are coming from bitter people who possibly thought that they were better than they really were. When it comes down to it, CM Punk was not as good or as over as John Cena, was not as good or as over and moved the needle like The Rock. It was what it was. As a full-time performer, I understand the frustration in wanting more, but like I said, you gotta take it. I'm a full-time performer, but I've done everything that needs to be done to stay in this position against a John Cena, and if anybody ever comes along to push me out of that scenario, I'm gonna fight like hell to keep the ground that I've made." Reigns' praise for Cena won't last long, as he plans on humbling the 16-time world champion at SummerSlam, but the tribal chief still believes that his opponent, and his cousin The Rock, will always be bigger names than CM Punk. It's been reported for weeks that Punk will be making his debut for AEW tonight, and despite neither Punk nor AEW confirming those reports, there's been plenty of signs that he'll be on tonight's show. Yesterday, AEW announced that an additional 300 seats were on sale for Rampage in the United Center, and Tony Khan has promised a big announcement during the show. If the announcement isn't the debuting Punk, then we don't know what it'll be, but it's worth mentioning that the prospect of AEW 6-man titles have been promised for a while. Tonight's show will also see Jon Moxley versus Daniel Garcia, Jurassic Park face Private Party, and Jade Cargill versus Kiera Hogan in what'll be a huge night for AEW, no matter if Punk shows up or not. Roman Reigns had a lot to say about Punk, and a lot of fans chimed in after what he said was released, and now Mick Foley is saying his piece. On Twitter, Foley said that Punk was damn good and damn over, and added that the pipe bomb changed the course of the wrestling business. praising Punk's ability to have great matches, Foley concluded by saying that when Punk does return to wrestling, he'll be as good and over as he once was. Time will tell if Punk's return to the ring will happen on tonight's Rampage as expected, but after 7 years away from the ring, Mick Foley is still all in with the best in the world. In April, WWE released the Iconics at the same time, and they haven't been able to make any money since. That's because of issues with their respective green cards, but these visa issues aren't stopping the pair from trying to find work. According to Fightful, Cassie Lee and Jessica McKay have been active in the free agent market, and Impact Wrestling has been interested in bringing in the Australian duo, though no deal has been made yet. Their report also stated that a new wrestling program, scheduled for the fall, has also shown interest in the Iconics, but details are scarce as to what kind of program that'll be. Clearly, the Iconics remain popular 4 months after their departure from WWE, and although they're having to take more time to deal with their green cards, they won't be lacking on offers when they can eventually get back to work. The Iconics were two of many superstars to have lost their jobs in WWE, but this week, the company held tryouts ahead of this Saturday's SummerSlam. Countless wannabe superstars have made the trip to Sin City in pursuit of a contract, and these tryouts were reportedly a huge success. Triple H has said that between 13 to 16 contracts were offered at the most recent tryouts, though there's no word on who specifically earned themselves a deal with WWE. The company only recently axed 13 names from NXT, but they're having no issue filling the Performance Center back up. Getting a contract is just the first step on a long journey to make it as a WWE superstar, and there's no guarantee that many, if any of these new signings will become a big deal in WWE. And we'll have to keep our eyes peeled for this latest batch of WWE signees. These recruits will no doubt be dreaming of having the same success as Roman Reigns, who's been on a roll over the past year, reinventing himself as the Tribal Chief and making the Universal title the most important championship in pro wrestling, at least according to him. Few men know Reigns better than Seth Rollins, who has both teamed and faced off with the head of the table, and while speaking to the Daily Star, Rollins discussed Reigns' difficult journey and how it takes time for a wrestler to find their comfort level. I've watched him grow as a performer over time, and one thing I think people don't understand is that it takes time to be really good at this business and to figure yourself out and find your comfort level. Even though he was put in a position to succeed early on, that's a lot of pressure for a young man. He's in the middle of an incredible run as far as WrestleMania main events are concerned, and kind of being put in that Hulk Hogan, John Cena top spot. That's not easy. That's a difficult thing to do. Now, Reigns' comfort level is at the very top of SmackDown, a spot he doesn't plan on relinquishing anytime soon, and we're excited to see what he does with John Cena this Saturday in what's sure to be the main event of SummerSlam. And we're ending with more Rollins news, and although he's pleased for Reigns, that doesn't mean he won't hesitate to take the title held by the Tribal Chief. Speaking on a conference call to El Universal's Luis Rodriguez, Rollins stated that once he's done with Edge this Saturday, he's got his sights on becoming Universal Champion again, no matter if it's Reigns or Cena who leaves Las Vegas with the gold. Rollins added that he believes he'll be Universal Champion very soon, and that beating Edge would be a feather in his cap en route to the gold. Defeating the Hall of Famer this Sunday would no doubt elevate Rollins into becoming the #1 contender for the Universal title, a championship he hasn't held in close to 2 years. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.